Now, I'm a massive fan of old school dance music, and one of my favourite effects they used to do is when they used to take a vocal and really stretch it out, almost so that it sounded like it was stuttering. And that's what we're going to cover in today's quick tip. I'm going to show you 2 quick and easy ways to do that same kind of stuttering, stretched vocal effect in Ableton. So I'm back again with another one of my quick tips. Every single day this month, I've got a brand new quick tip for you. And today's one is all about that stretched vocal effect. Now I'm going to show you 2 different ways of doing this, one with audio and one with MIDI. Now, depending on the sample that you've got, you might want to try both methods to see which one works out best. But let's jump into Ableton and I'll show you how to do both. So we're back in Ableton and I've got a very simple project set up here. Just a single audio track with a vocal sample sitting on it.
Here we go.
Now at the moment this is just a one-shot vocal sample, but you can use pretty much whatever you want to. At the moment the warping is turned off because it is classed as a one-shot, so it's not actually a loop. So I'm actually going to turn warping on. This is what we need to turn on to be able to do this really interesting effect. Now when I turn this on, it automatically puts a warp point at the start, a warp marker at the very start of the sample. Now we do need basically a warp marker at the start and at the end of wherever we're stretching. So it's already put a warp marker in at the start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a warp marker in at the end. We can see there's nothing in there at the moment. So I just need to double click on here. Now create a warp marker. So I now have a warp marker at the start and at the very end. The next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to stretch this out. So the end of the clip is here, but we can actually stretch this out past the end of the clip. Now you can stretch this as much as you want to. This is basically how long your sample is going to be stretched out. So I'm going to keep going for a little bit. And I'm just going to stop about there. Now we can see that our vocal sample is being cut off at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag this back out again. And we can see that our vocal sample is now a lot longer.
Here we go.
Now we can actually drag this out a little bit more. Maybe this is not long enough for you, so you can click and drag that even more if you wanted to. So I'm going to drag this out maybe another bar. And again, I'll drag out the end of the clip. And we can hear how that sounds.
Here we go.
So at the moment, this is set to the complex algorithm, which actually tries to make it as seamless as possible. But we want it to sound a little bit more kind of cut up. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to change it to a different algorithm. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on texture and see how we go there. Now, the greatest thing about this is it gives us control over the grain size. This is what's going to make it sound really kind of juttery and give us that kind of old school, cool kind of effect. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust this until we kind of get the style that we're after. So when I increase it, basically the sample sizes get bigger. So we get more of a kind of a jutter kind of effect. But we might want to make it a bit smaller than that.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
So as you can hear there, we're really getting that old school kind of effect. And you can adjust this grain size to be whatever you want to. You can do it to your own taste. Depending on the sample that you've actually got in there, you might want to kind of play around with it and see what kind of effect you can get. So we're definitely getting that kind of effect on it. Now to that, we can actually add maybe a reverb. That might sound quite interesting. So I'm going to put a reverb over the top of this.
Here we go.
So as you can hear there, we're definitely getting that old school kind of stretched vocal effect. Now I did mention there are a couple of ways of doing this. So I'm just going to turn that off for now. And I'm going to insert a new MIDI track. There is a way of doing this with MIDI. So again, I'm going to get that very same sample. I'm going to drag and drop it onto the MIDI channel. And this will now give us a new simpler. Now to this, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a MIDI clip the same size as that one we've just stretched out. We'll use that as an example. I'll right click on here, click insert MIDI clip. I'm going to hit B on my keyboard to go into draw mode. I'm going to put a note on C3 and then I'm going to hit legato to make that note go over the whole clip. Now at the moment, this will just play back as it was before, just a very simple one-shot sample.
Here we go.
But what we want to do is we want to do that stutter effect. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually just increase the volume so it's a bit louder.
Here we go.
And then we're going to start playing around with some of the features on this simpler to create that effect. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off snap, and then I'm going to activate the loop. And I'm actually going to decrease the loop length. Now this is the same thing as us doing the grain size. So we're kind of choosing how long we want to play, how big our grain size is basically. And then what we're going to do is we're going to automate the start. So if I play this back now, so you can hear there we're doing the same effect, but we're doing it manually. Now it does sound a bit choppy, so I'm actually put a bit of a fade on there as well. And what we're going to do now is we're going to automate the start point. So I'm going to go to here, go to show automation, and then I'm going to automate this start point. And what we can also do is adjust the length as we go along as well and see what kind of other effects we can come up with. And as you can hear from there, we can actually adjust the length as we go as well. We could automate that and create some really interesting effects. So maybe make it shorter, go into a bit longer, and then shorter again towards the end. And that's pretty much it. How much fun is that? Honestly, I could spend hours playing around with that. Obviously, doing it the audio way is the quicker way of doing it. Just setting those warp markers, dragging it out, and then setting the grain size to be how you want it to be. It's a very quick and easy effect. But going down the MIDI route just gives you so many more possibilities, and you can play around with all those different parameters to come up with some really interesting effects. So I definitely recommend trying both of those out. Certain samples will be better with different methods, so just have a play around with it and see what you can come up with. And if this video has been useful to you, definitely subscribe to the channel, because as I say, every single day this month, a brand new quick tip. So definitely get subscribed, hit that notification icon, and hopefully I'll see you again in the next video.